Today, I'm going to show you how to create and manage text styles in Sketch. Let's get started. If you're new to Sketch and haven't used it much before, I recommend watching an introductory video first. In my intro video, I go over the basics of Sketch and how to use the program. So jumping into this project, I'm working on a data visualization app that currently has a landing page right now, an account creation process, a home page, and some kind of report summary. Currently, every single text field is its own separate layer without having one uniform style associated with it. So if I were to click on a text field, over here it says no text style. That's because I didn't create a custom style for this text yet. This text has some particular characteristics about it: the typeface, the weight of it, the color, and the size. And if I click on another element on a different artboard, it has the same characteristics. The powerful thing about Sketch is that you can use symbols to help build consistency throughout your application. So if you create a text style once, you could reuse it throughout the whole application to verify that all of your styles are consistent throughout. So to get started, I am going to start creating and managing my text styles. So first, I see I have this large header here on the account creation flow. As you can see, I have it on 3 separate artboards for different states of account creation. I'm going to go to the inspector panel and click Create New Text Style. It automatically fills it out with the content that's in the text field, but I'm going to override it and call it H1. So now if I click on it again, I see that H1 is assigned to that text field. Now I'm going to grab the other headers, and instead of saying no text style, I'm going to assign it to that H1 header. Now I'm going to work on the body copy because that's used quite often throughout the app. Here I have these form fields that I've created into symbols. So if I double click into it, I can enter into the form field. I'm going to double click and it is going to be my basic body styling. So I'm going to say create new style and call it body. As you can see with the form fields, we have several different states we need to account for. There's when the body content is filled in, but then there's this empty state before the user has tapped into it and wrote anything, and then there's this error state. So I'm going to create different states of body for these different parameters. So here I'm going to say create new text style and call it maybe body/inactive. And here I'll grab this one and call it body/error. Here's another kind of error messaging one that's different from body because it's a different size. So this is size 18 in regular, and this one is 14 in regular. So I might create a new text style that just says error for just error messaging. If I go back to the page, everything looks exactly the same, like nothing has changed. But now if I click into one of these and I grab it, I see that body inactive is assigned to it, and here body error is assigned to it as well. Now I'm going to assign those text styles to everywhere else in the application. So here I have some text and I'm going to assign it to body to be consistent. Here I have another kind of text styling. This is a link, so it's slightly different than body. So I'm going to call it link. Here I have something else that looks like body, so I'm going to click body. And what happened? It made it left justified. And that's because in that body styling, I had that alignment set to left, but I want this to be center. So I can create a new text style and call it body center. This is the logo, so this is a little bit different. So I'm not going to assign a text style to it because it's technically an image. Here's a button. So I have a couple button styles throughout. So right now I only have primary, active, and inactive, but I know I'll have secondary buttons throughout the application as well. So I'm going to click into this button and grab this text style, and I'm going to call it button primary. Call this the same as well, button primary. And this is a secondary button style, so I'm going to say button secondary. Call this the same as well. Now here I have body, and it looks like I have body twice, and it's because one is a regular one and then the second body has that slash and that hierarchy. So we can change this one so it's a little bit more consistent. So over here I can go to organize text styles and then rename it. So if I double click into it, I can say left. So I know that's the left justified body. And when I go back here, I see all the body styles organized right here. All the button styles are here. So now I have this sent to body center, this body left, this is that link. Now I'm going to go into this form label. I didn't create a style for that label, so I'm going to click into it, same as before, and call it label. Now you can name these things whatever you want, but I'm just going to call it label for now. And so I'm going to do the same thing as did before, and I'm going to take all these form elements and give it the same styling. Now in the Reports tab, I have these different time intervals that I want the user to be able to select to filter through the results. So I have these different labels here. I'm going to assign that label styling to it. And again, with these time intervals, I'm also going to assign it that same label styling as well. So I'm grabbing all the text fields and setting it to label. Now on this page, I also have this header that I currently don't have a styling that's similar to it. It's a size 20. And right now we have body that's 18. The button styling is 20, but these are center aligned, and I know I'm going to want that to be left aligned. And it's going to be used throughout in different circumstances, so I'm going to create a new text style for this, and maybe call this one H2. So I'm assigning H2 to this one as well, and in the summary page, assigning H2 for that one as well. This one is body. So why do we do this? Text styles are great for you to be able to manage and manipulate your styles whenever you want throughout the whole application. So instead of having each layer has its own style independently, it's all going to be consistent and linked up to the styles that you created in this side panel. So as I'm working through this application, I may decide later that I want to manipulate something else in a different way, such as change the color or styling of it. So if later I go to this H1 and decide that I no longer want it to be this color, I could change the color here and refresh the styling, and now it's applicable throughout the whole application. Going to go back to the original for that one. Here as well, if I see that I have these labels, right now there's no clear indication of which view I'm on because there's not a selected state for it. So I'm going to click this one, and instead of changing it to label, maybe I'll try it what link looks like. Link looks a little weird because they're not the same styling, so I'm going to revert back to the original label and perhaps modify this a bit. So maybe I'll make it bold, reduce the character spacing a little bit, rename it, and close it. I could also remove a style if I want to, so if later I decide I don't like that active styling, I can remove it and then close it. And so when I return back to where that style was used, it'll just say no text style for this field. But this gives me a lot of flexibility and power, so if later I decide I want to make a global change to a style, I can just do it once and then it's applied throughout. So again, if I want to click this body styling and decide that color is a little bit too dark, I could change the color of it, I could change the font, the weight of it, I can make it all light, and even change the typeface if I want to. And if I click refresh, it's now applied throughout the whole entire design. So I only need to make the change once and then it'll apply to every single artboard. So I hope you enjoyed this video going over how to create and manage text styles in Sketch. I use text styles to really help build consistency throughout my application and make sure that the same styling is applied throughout the whole design. Please let me know if you have any questions about the topic and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching!